All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, we are live and full effect. On the line, we have the one, the only West Coast hip-hop legend. We got DJ Aladdin right here, right now. How you doing this evening?
Man, chillin', what it do, Canada? We up in here from Compton to Canada. You know what I'm saying? DJ Aladdin in the place.
I got to say first and foremost, Aladdin, you are an absolute hip-hop legend, man, and it's an honor just to be able to have you here on my radio station, man. You are a hip-hop pioneer, man. You've been doing it since the beginning.
It's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure to be here, too, man. Yeah, man. It's, you know what I'm saying, paying the roots. Just having the honor to be there around the time that the West Coast hip-hop started and just being able to have that feel of what it was like, man, because that's, I mean, you know, that history of being there, man, it's like you can't take that away for nothing in the world, man, to just say you was there, you witnessed it, you know what I'm saying, and you was a part of it, you know, and I appreciate that, man.
And I gotta ask you, Aladdin, like, taking you back to the very beginning, like, what actually inspired you to get into the music industry?
Well, it was a number of things, but what really was the DJing and the parties. Coming up, doing parties, we had a lot of house parties in our neighborhood, and just from there to basically the radio station mix jams. Like back in the days, we had radio stations like KGFJ, the original K-Day back in the day. So they had mix jams. We used to just listen to them, and you know what I'm saying? I used to basically get inspired because at the time, we used to be able to go see them live. They would be at skating rings, like World on Wheels. We had one in Compton called Skate Land, and you used to go be able to see the mix masters live, and that was awesome because back then they would have acts come and perform like Dougie Fresh, Rakim, you know, MC Shy D. Like acts like that. So I mean, it was very inspirational. You know what I'm saying? And I was taking notes, man. I was taking notes. You know what I'm saying? And I was just inspired by the movement, and that just really pushed me to go forward with my music career. Wanting to be a producer and just keep going.
And
you know?
Also,
keep
man,
going,
oh, sorry about that, Aladdin. My apologies.
No problem.
I was gonna say as well, like, you know, going back to when you actually brought up the original K-Day, I also when I did my research for this interview, you were also a DJ that on that station as well, man. I have to ask you, what made you decide to get into radio? And of course, what was it like actually? What was the experience like just taking part in one of the biggest hip hop radio stations in America at that current time?
Oh, that was really it was an honor, and it was like it was a blessing, man, to be honest with you, because you had to practice for that. You would battle DJs that were already mixed masters on the station. So it was like they would hold DJ battles, you know what I'm saying, and you had to really, if you wanted to be a mix master or something, you had to compete. And, you know, it was just at the time you practice for something that you really want to do and you believe in yourself, and just having that feeling that, you know, when you're around people that say you know, that give you that motivation that you can do it, it really helps the situation, because it's like it gives you that energy, you know what I'm saying, to practice hard and see, I can go and be a mix master, or I can do this, you know, and basically you practice hard for that, and when you know, accomplish that goal, and you know, it's like, man, it's unbelievable feeling, man. So it was like me practicing for the DJ competition to be able to battle one of them cats in order to get on, and then you get on, and then it's like you preparing for your DJ, your radio show mixes. It was like, man, it was just exciting, because when they had events, they would showcase each mix master, you know, and that was the exciting part too. You know, just really being there and just being part of the festivities, man, because, man, they kept it cracking. Greg Mack, Joe Cooley, Tony G, Julio G, you know what I'm saying? These cats, man, M-Walk, Egyptian Lover used to come through, but he wasn't really a mix master. Arabian Prince. You had so many cats, man, that really branched off from that. you know, and the connections that was there, man, is like unlimited, man. You know, I was around the time when we broke the first NWA record, you know what I'm saying? Gangsta Gangsta, when they was playing it and they wouldn't really play it, but they was like, you know what I'm saying, it was too hard at the time. But then we had this, we used to perform at this spot called the La Casa, and it was a club every weekend, and they would highlight and showcase radio shows that was live. And at that time, I was performing, I was DJing for Coolio, and he had this group called, it was Coolio and Spoonie, and they had a group called, what was the name of that group, man? It was, man, I can't think of the name of it, but, man, they was a dope crew back at the time. And at the time, Dr. Dre and them came with the Gangsta Gangsta. And he was like, man, you know what I'm saying, put that on, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, Dre being who he was at the time, you know, we all had love for him, so it wasn't no problem for me to put the record on and play it, you know what I'm saying, and just get the response of that. But just to have that moment, man, was really exciting, because I could say I was around all that. We was all on the same record label, so I was on priority. So I got a chance to witness a lot of the music that was coming out with them at that time before it really hit. And it was just an honor to be a part of that, man. Really.
And I gotta say, man, when Boys in the Hood first came out, because, like, obviously you probably seen, like, the Straight Outta Compton movie, like, the entire city was all on that track. Is that actually exactly how it happened back in California, like, back when that record first dropped? Was it kind of like the setting of Straight Outta Compton, where, like, the whole city was just, like, all on the joint?
Yeah, it really was like that in its own way. You know what I'm saying? But it really didn't start off like that. But after I say, you know what I'm saying? Because you got to understand, Dre was creating a legacy and a historical mark within that time. So it was like, you know, a lot of people was you didn't have a lot of how should I say it? People who was influencers at that time. You had a lot of people that was followers, and what I mean by that is, at the time, it was like, somebody could be like, oh, man, that record is whack, or that's whack, you know, and then everybody would go off of it, but they wouldn't really listen to the record for themselves, you know, to distinguish if it's a dope record or not. So after the record kept getting played, and it rubbed off. Now, the actual neighborhoods and cities was basically like that. So they took a resemblance of the image and basically formed that into the record of Boys in the Hood. But when it actually came out, people wouldn't really jump on it until the inside people started really like really gravitating to it. Then it just took off like a magnet. It was just like a magnet, man. I was in New York at the time when we was down there for the New Music Seminar, and they booed NWA, they booed the Ghetto Boys, and it was another group they booed, but it was them two that I remember for sure. And these groups come to find out, blew up. You know what I'm saying? The Ghetto Boys with Mind playing tricks on me, and NWA with Gangsta Gangster and Dope Man. I remember that. I was down there, man, and it just tripped me out, because the world can kind of jump on records late, but if you just keep what you believe in and keep promoting the record, eventually it will create a buzz, you know what I'm saying, to where everybody jump on it. And that's what happened with Boys in the Hood. It created that own buzz. It was like crack in a new neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? It was like a new drug. You know, they didn't like it at first, but then when they got on it, it was just like, all right, it just became a new trend.
And I agree, man. You know, Boys in the Hood is still crack to hip hop heads today in 2021, man. You know what I mean? When I listen to that shit, I gotta play it over again.
yeah, real talk, man. Because you know, like I say, what they did was they took what was actually going on in a lot of the neighborhoods at that time, and they just really, somebody capitalized and made a concept off of it, which it first became a song, and then it went into a movie. You know what I'm saying? And then it just took off from there. You know, but the image and the concept was real. You know how it started. But whoever, it was just like a lottery ticket. Whoever jumped on it first was the one that, you know, that seen the image, that really put it out there. They was the one that got the props for it, because it definitely took off, man. It took off. Right about that.
And also, like, as we already know, you're a West Coast, you are from the West Coast, but in 1989, you actually became the East Coast DJ champion. I was wondering if you can tell us a bit more about that. And of course, how did it feel, you know, being a West Coast DJ, winning an East Coast championship?
Well, at the time when we was DJing, it was like the Mecca being a Muslim. You know, it was like New York was like the Mecca in DJing and in hip hop. And where I was coming from, growing up in Compton, you always had a lot of critics. You always had a lot of people that would be like, man, you did this or you that. And we had cats that would be like, man, you know, you ain't really nothing until you go battle them dudes on the East Coast, or till you go over there, because that's where it started. That's where it's at. That's where you get your notoriety, you get your credit, you get your fame, you know, you get whatever. You got to go over there and battle, you know what I'm saying? And it started off on that, but we didn't really have too many. What made our situation dope, because we didn't really have who I could name from the West Coast MCs that would go battle. But it was always West Coast DJs. But just at that time, the new music seminar was more like if you didn't go, you couldn't really get the certification of approval. It was like it was the, you know what I'm saying? It's like the UFC, you know, if you're an Ultimate Fighter, you got to get in the cage in the daytime, and that's how it was in New York. It was like, if you want to be the dopest DJ or you want to be known, you had to go to New York, you know, and get in that cage. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we was inspired by. You know, that's what opened the foundation up for us, like the Joe Coolies. You know what I'm saying? Because when he was the first to do it on our end, to really represent us and coming out of Compton, and that's what really inspired me, because when he went the year prior to me going, it was more like, oh yeah, we going. You know what I'm saying? And then it was always Compton against Philly. Somehow it always ended up a Philly DJ and a Compton DJ in the finals. And if you notice, that's where it happened with me. It was a Philly DJ and a Compton DJ. When Joe Cooley went, it was Cash Money. When I went, it was DJ Miz. So it was always a Compton against Philly, like, you know what I'm saying? But in the heart of New York, because New York is the Mecca. So if you didn't go there, you couldn't really get your credit and your stripes like you wanted to, because anywhere else it wasn't really official. You know what I'm saying? And that's what made New York so bomb, going on the East Coast. So when I won in New York, that really gave me the certification, and then it tripped people out because I was from Compton. So it was like a West Coast DJ winning on the East Coast. It really kind of like, you know what I'm saying? It made my stocks go up. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool, man. It was really cool, you know. It put the word out there on DJ Aladdin, you know. So a lot of people really gave me the respect as far as a real DJ, and that was willing to go cross country and battle. You know what I'm saying? Because I battled in Chicago, New York, London. I always was the type that liked to go battle on the East Coast, because the East Coast was more where it was originated. You get your stripes, your notoriety, and you had more of the dopest DJs out there that was more crafted with their own styles. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was so influenced on going to New York, going on the East Coast and battling.
And the one thing I have to ask you pertaining to that battle, like when they announced you as the winner, like, was the crowd booing or whatnot since you're a West Coast DJ on the East Coast, or were they showing you mad love after your performance?
You know, and that's it's dope that you asked that question, because when they looked at me after my performance, they really didn't look at me as where I was from. They just liked my performance. So it made me even more acceptable over there, because of, you know, New York is they're going to give you the talent. If you got the talent, they're going to give it to you. They're going to give you your props. I will say that. Now, it's hard to get it over there because they're not going to just give you any props. But if you don't, they will give you your props. And what just so happened is they like me to the point where they embrace me. You know what I'm saying? They embraced me and took me under their wing, you know. So it was always an honor and a pleasure to represent the East Coast by me being from the West Coast. It just made it that much more respectable, and they never really looked at me like, oh, he's a West Coast DJ. It was like, he dope. You know what I'm saying? He got skill. And it made me respect New York from all angles, you know?
And also, as well, when we're talking about competitions and whatnot, your first major battle was actually was actually with one of your mentors, Tony G. I was wondering, how did that battle come to be? And if you don't mind me asking, can you tell us a bit more about what transpired that night against yourself and your mentor?
Well, you know what it is too, though. It was more like I never really looked at that battle like I really battled Tony G, because I always respected him in more ways than one, because he's always been dope. I used to just go to different skating rings and just watch him DJ and just cut and just, he was, you know what I'm saying? Me being young, it was like, man, and I always had respect and that love for him. So it never really was a battle, like how the people looked at it. It's just, I looked at it as a mentor giving his student, you know what I'm saying, an opportunity to shine. Because I never really could say I battled Tony G, because I always had that much respect for him. Like certain ones, it's never will be a battle, because I learned from all these cats. I studied these cats. So it was just always, just like a martial arts person, if you got a master, you always go give your master that respect. You know what I'm saying? Even if you think, and people can be like, oh, he's doper, but you still just, you know me, I always give them that respect. You know what I'm saying? Because they was doing it way before me, and I learned from a lot of these cats. If it wasn't for them cats, man, there wouldn't be no DJ Aladdin. I used to just go and watch these cats for hours, just cut. You know what I'm saying? And it was exciting, man. But yeah, that was one of my first battles, but it was more like, I call it a recognition battle, because it would just give me some recognition, you know what I'm saying, like you say, going up against my mentor, you know.
And also, as well, you actually formed a hip-hop duo with another West Coast hip-hop legend, Dub C, called Low Profile in the mid-1980s. I was wondering, how did yourself and Dub C actually get connected? And, of course, what's the story behind Low Profile?
Well, what happened was, with the Low Profile situation, I knew this dude named Zero. He was part of the group, and Low Profile was like a 3-member group. It was Zero, Dub C, and DJ Aladdin, and Zero ended up going to college. So my Dub C and myself kept the group going, and basically it just transpired because we stayed down. That's how we connected with Ice-T. We connected with a lot of these other cats. And but it just, by me DJing and winning these battles, we end up getting a deal through Priority. And that's what brought out the first album, We In This Together. You know what I'm saying? But staying down, staying true to the craft, and just believing in ourselves, man, and that we was going to do it. And, you know, it was just, sometimes it would be tripped out, because we would want to go record or do things, and we didn't know how we was going to do it when them days would come up, but just somehow it would happen. So it was like, you know what I'm saying, it was when they say something is written and it can't be stopped, you could kind of see it. It was written. It was said to be. You know, it was like all the plugs were coming at the right time, all the right supporters. You know, everybody was behind us at the right time. We had the Ice-T in the video. We had Ice Cube. We had a lot of the cats. We had songs produced by Dr. Dre that we did called Three the Hard Way that never got out. We did a song for it. So it was like a lot of the stuff, if you would have really heard how we was coming, it was written. You know, it was written.
And I have to ask, those songs that actually Dr. Dre produced, do you think they will ever see the light of day? Like us fans, do you think we will ever be able to hear them? And like obviously in our lifetime?
Well, I can't say right now because I don't know what a master is, because we recorded that at this studio in Watts. It was a hole in the wall in Watts. And back then, Dre used to come to the studio where we would record at. So it was, we would have to find out where that studio at and where they at with that with the masters and all that. But because this was done in, man, this was in the late '80s, like. You know what I'm saying? So it would be awesome to hear that. If I had the cassette, I'd try to put it out because it was dope. But at the time, it was, man, Dre was still up and coming. So, oh, man, that would be awesome. But only the ones that was around us knew at that time what he was doing. And, man, it was just, we didn't never really focus on putting it out at the time because we was too busy just recording. So if I could ever find that master, the song was called Three the Hard Way. Dr. Dre produced it for Dub C or DJ Aladdin, man. Even my own inner circle will be talking about it to this day. The ones that heard about it and heard it, they still talk about that song to this day. But yeah, that's awesome, man. We got a lot of history within this Compton circle, you know, being on the same label. A lot of things was done. It's just we never really cherished the moments to really know, you know, to put them out now, so people can really, you know what I'm saying, elaborate off what we did back in the day, you know.
And also,
those are just precious memories.
And also, your guys' record, We're in This Together, man. I gotta say, my two favorite joints off that record is actually How You Livin' and Easy Money. Those are my absolute favorite joints off that record.
I appreciate that, man. I really do that. I had produced that whole album, so it was like, you know, Dub had dope concepts because he would speak on topics that we were dealing with at the time, you know what I'm saying? And like people that know, like the Easy Money, when we were recording the album, I used to go in front of my house because there was so much drugs being sold on my block that I would basically, when I come home from school, I do my homework, I'll go outside and hang on the block, and I'll make my studio money and everything. So with Dub, every time me and him speak on the phone, I'll be like, we going in the studio. We doing this or we doing that. And sometimes be like, man, you know, we got the money for that? I just be like, man, don't even worry about it. You know what I'm saying? We got it. You know? We got that. You know what I'm saying? So it was a trip because the concept he came with off of Easy Money, it made it look like everything was easy when we was recording because we always had the money, but it was really like, you know what I'm saying, it was the timing. You know what I'm saying? And what was going on at that time. And basically what I was doing with my money when I would hustle, because I was deep into the music game, but you know, you surrounded by negativity, but you use the negative energy and convert it into positive energy. Even if it's drugs around you, you know what I'm saying, we could find an inspirational site and create it possible. Positive lighting. And that was going with the studio, flipping the money to go to the studio to record. It was like a relief, you know what I'm saying? And that's how he would come up with a lot of these topics like Easy Money, how you living, you know what I'm saying, coming straight from the heart. You know what I'm saying? Like these are some songs, you know, that he be coming with And man, that's what made that low profile album dope. You know, that's what made it dope, man. So.
And also another legendary group that you were actually a part of is actually Ice-T's Rhyme Syndicate. I was wondering what's the story behind that, and how did yourself and Ice-T actually get connected? Because I do know that you actually did some production work as well on his New Jack City.
Yeah, what happened was my buddy, well, he's like my uncle, and we had a little mixtape, and I guess he let Ice-T hear the song, and it was when Ice-T was doing his first compilation album. It was called Rhyme Syndicate Coming Through. He heard one of our singles, his little song, and he said he wanted to put it on an album, and it was called Think You Can Hang, and it was all three of us at the time, but he was feeling the record, and from there we just connected, and he heard other beats that I was doing. And he started liking the beats, and just so happened we just clicked and did a couple of tracks, and the rest was history.
And I have to ask you as well, is the Rhyme Syndicate still going on today? Because I do know that some members, like, they really do still use the name and be like, hey, I'm part of the Rhyme Syndicate. So I've always wondered, like, is that group still going today, or did all the members just kind of go their separate ways?
Well, it's still Rhyme Syndicate in their heart, in everybody's heart. But, I mean, when you say as far as the music and putting stuff out, I can't really speak on everybody's behalf because everybody is different when it comes to that. Like, you know, you got people rapping Rhyme Syndicate, but nobody's recording Rhyme Syndicate. You know what I'm saying? So it's just how you look at it. You know, Rhyme Syndicate had two different branches. It had a street branch and it had a music branch. It was really formed from the street branch, and to the people who really came and was connected from the streets with it, it's still in their heart. They still rap it. You know, I mean, and that's just what it is with that. But as far as music-wise and people who recording it, nah, you don't really hear too much of them pushing Rhyme Syndicate right now, you know. So it is what it is. But you know, it's still other cliques and other crews from that's going, but they're just not branding themselves with Rhyme Syndicate. I still brand myself with Rhyme Syndicate because I'm part of the street chapter of Rhyme Syndicate. I'm deeper than the music chapter, so it's much more to the heart with me. Even if I don't really see them, I just know, you know what I'm saying, and they know. So, you know, the real know who the real is when it comes to the Rhyme Syndicate. Yeah, it's just to the point now you don't even really speak on it no more, but they know who the real is.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you myself. Like, I actually did not know the Rhyme Syndicate actually consisted of two chapters. I just thought you guys were a huge collective hip-hop group, man. So that's something new that I just learned right now, man. So, like the old saying goes, you learn something new every day.
Oh, yeah, real talk, real talk. Yeah, that's how it really came. It formed from that, and then it turned into, like a music group, you know what I'm saying, like a clique as far as crews, and a combination of different groups that combine as the Rhyme Syndicate chapter, because we used to go on tour, you know what I'm saying, and perform. And then, like I say, you got Rhyme Syndicate, part of the body count is rock. It's Ice-T was very, he was imaginationable, and he can expand his mind. He would expand. So what you would see, everything, it would always be something coming up or something added to it. He would never just settle for one particular thing, and his mind was like nitro is going 100 miles a minute. You know what I'm saying? So he stayed thinking and moving. So you gotta, in order to stay on his level, you gotta stay catching up. You gotta stay on the level of thinking where he at. You know, and that's basically where he at with it. You know, he done had a couple of groups since the Rhyme Syndicate though. So it's like I say, he moves, man. He moves. You know what I'm saying? But it's still, to the heart, it's still Rhyme Syndicate though.
And also, as well, I noticed that you were actually on MTV mixing on the Dr. Dre and Ed Lover show back in the 1990s. I was wondering, how did you land that gig? And of course, what was it like actually being on MTV and working alongside Dr. Dre and Ed Lover?
Oh, it was history to me, that unforgettable history, because you can go on MTV, you can go on YouTube right now, and you can see those footages and images of me cutting with Dr. Dre and Ed Lover and on Yo MTV Raps. And back in the day, if we didn't have that footage, certain things like that, you could be like, man, I DJ'd on Yo MTV Raps. Some people wouldn't even believe you. But that footage keeps it certified to the point where you ain't even got to say nothing. You just be like, go on YouTube, pull up Yo MTV, DJ Aladdin on Yo MTV Raps. And it just speaks for itself. You know what I'm saying? It speaks for itself.
And it's actually amazing as well, like that footage is actually going to live on for many, many years to come. And I do want to let our listeners know, whether you're listening live or it's on demand as well, when we say Dr. Dre, we're talking about not D-R-D-R-E, we're talking about Dr. Dre. He's a DJ as well within the music industry. I know some individuals are like, Dr. Dre, he was on UMTV Raps.
Right. No, it's two different Dr. Dre's. It was a Dr. Dre that was a host on Yo MTV Rap, and then you got the producer, Dr. Dre, but I'm talking about the host. And if you want to know what he looked like, all you got to do is go on YouTube, pull up the Yo MTV Rap DJ Aladdin on Yo MTV Raps, and you will see Dr. Dre and Ed Lover right there. And that's the bigger dude is Dr. Dre.
And I want to say as well, quickly before we move on from that topic, I want to say my absolute prayers go out to Dr. Dre, man. I noticed recently he was going through some health problems, so I just want to send, my prayers all over to him and his family, and I hope he's doing well today.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. Yeah, he's a strong person, man, and yeah, he got a lot of love, bro. So, it's everybody got him in their prayers, and man, he's just doing nothing but just having a positive, basically positive outcome, positive responses, positive everything towards his healing. So that's a blessing, and that's an awesome thing, because, you know what I'm saying, he got nothing but love from all of us out here. So if we just connect and put that positive energy and connect all that energy together, you know what I'm saying, we can't do nothing but give him the love and everything he needs to heal.
And also, jumping ahead to current times, you also have a brand new single out titled Rep Hub City. I have to ask you, what's the story and inspiration behind that amazing track? And of course, where can our listeners buy or stream it today?
Well, Rep Hub City basically is an introduction to the Fonzarelli concept. And it's basically, displaying where I'm from, all the and it was a basic time and era that was going on at the time when Compton was really cracking, meaning like the clothing, certain clothing lines, certain high schools, you know what I'm saying, back then in the days, and certain neighborhoods where I grew up at. And all I did was basically just shot a rough, a rough image looking of how Compton is, because Compton is not, you got people that can make Compton look like it's super beautiful and it's palm trees and, you know what I'm saying, roses and all that, but really in reality, it's more like rough street, rugged, and you know what I'm saying, and that's what I wanted to bring, that rough and rugged image when I did this song, Rapping Hub City. Because basically everybody know Compton, but they didn't know, some people don't know that Hub City is the same as Compton. And not just Hub City, but they got different other cities within that's next to Compton that's also Hub City. So, I just went off of that concept, and you got your car club, you got a lot of people that rep that Hub City to the fullest. So we just came with it and just did the Fonzarelli concept of it, and just had some fun with it, man. If you can't have fun, man, you can't really do nothing. So I'm just experimenting, have fun. Have my boy Honcho and his you know what I'm saying, awesome directing and video, you know what I'm saying, team, you know, hook up with my boy All Day and my boy Smokey Lane. They help added the seasonings and the flavors to it, man. And we just here, man, just, you know, bringing you this Fonzarelli concept. Rap Hub City, y'all check out the video. It's all on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And the song is available streaming live on Spotify and all the streaming channels. And y'all, you know, check me out and support. You know what I'm saying? And go, you know what I'm saying, check out that Rap Hub City by Fonzarelli.
And I got to say as well, Rap Hub City has also been playing here on 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM since we first set up this interview and you actually sent it my way. So it's been getting positive responses as well. Individuals have been loving it. But the one thing I have to ask pertaining to that single is that I noticed as well that it's actually from the LP The Motive. And I noticed that like The Motive isn't currently out yet, or I could be wrong, but if it's not out yet, what can our listeners actually expect from that record when it does actually get released?
Oh, they're going to be, man, you're going to be shocked because the Fonzarelli concept is more, it's going to be songs off the album that's going to really grab people's attention because what I did was I took classical songs from back in the days and I just put a Fonzarelli twist to them. That just sums it up. And it's going to be some songs that you're going to hear that's going to really be like, I remember that song. But when you hear the Fonzarelli twist to it, it's going to have a whole different vibe to it. You know, I added a whole different twist to it. So it's going to really like show you that, you know, I'm kind of like on some, I'm mixing the old school with the new and just basically, you know what I'm saying, just trying to collab some things up like gumbo, you know what I'm saying, add different type of flavors in, spice it up, you know, see what I can come with.
And I gotta say, man, that sounds like a spicy pot of gumbo, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It sounds pretty fucking dope, man. I'm actually looking forward to that record release.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate you. You gonna be the first to get it.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest, Aladdin. If you send it, I'm most definitely gonna spin it.
Man, I appreciate you, man. You know I'm gonna send that. You know I will. No problem. You got that, Immortal.
But I gotta ask you as well, DJ Aladdin, because I know like you're a very busy guy and you've been doing your thing for many, many years, man. So you do this stuff like clockwork. But I have to ask you, man, like what is next for DJ Aladdin? Like any new projects, anything I happen to miss that you still want to promote while we still have you here live on the Canadian airwaves?
Well, I basically, like I say, I have a whole album out that I'm about to release. I'm coming with a somewhat of a podcast, DJ podcast, hosting certain DJs. But really, right now, my focus is my really breaking my record label. You know, I'm gonna have some acts coming out, but I'm just right now. I'm basically the Fonzarelli is the first act that we're going with just to test the waters. But we have some acts that we're gonna come with that's gonna be pretty dope. But my label is my top priority right now. Grind Steady Records, and then like I say, we're gonna come with the podcast, and then once we get all that going, I'm moving to Grind Steady Films. I'm telling it before it even happened. I'm talking it into existence.
And also, DJ Aladdin, this is the time in the interview that I give a chance for the individual that slides into the radio station airwaves. Just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to. And of course, your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on everything DJ Aladdin if they're not already doing so.
Yeah, okay. Well, I appreciate that. But you can go to basically Facebook. I'm Al Henderson on Facebook. You can go to your Twitter, you know, Fonzarelli DJ Aladdin. You can go to the Instagram, Fonzarelli DJ Aladdin. You know, and I have a YouTube channel, Grind Steady Films, so you can check me out. I also have DJ videos of DJ Aladdin on YouTube, so you can punch in DJ Aladdin, see a lot of my battles in New York, across country, in London, spots like that, and basically from the basement. You know what I'm saying? And we have like A lot of songs that's streaming right now, and you can go to cdbaby.com and basically pull up the archives on DJ Aladdin and hear some of the legendary Ice-T songs, some of the Dub C songs, some of the Coolio songs. I even have a song with Lord Finesse from New York. I did a lot of production from back in the days. Did a remix scratched on Malcolm McLaren, the legendary Malcolm McLaren. You know, I did a Prince remix. Get Off. I did a lot of things. You can go on the archives and find all that out. And basically, you know, just, you know, check me out. You know what I'm saying? Check out DJ Aladdin, a.k.a. Fonzarelli, because there's going to be much more to explore. You know what I'm saying? In the future. You know what I'm saying? As far as my project. The next single, y'all going to really be on it. I have much more to explore. And I appreciate y'all for having me on Outlaw Radio, giving me the props and letting me be able to display my talents.
And I have to say, you are most certainly welcome, DJ Aladdin. I've been a fan for many, many years, man. So many, many years before I even became a DJ. And you're actually one of the DJs that inspired me to get into scratching and whatnot. So thank you for years upon years of amazing hip-hop and everything you've done for the hip-hop culture, man. You most definitely inspired millions worldwide.
Man, I appreciate that, man. I really do. You know what I'm saying? Hard work pays off, man. If you, like I said, if you really work hard at what you believe in, you know, it'll show. You know what I'm saying? It'll show. And that's basically what I did. I loved it. It was a hobby, a craft that I loved. It wasn't really, I never really expected it to get for me to get the notoriety that I got from it, because it was a neighborhood thing on the block. You just look forward to going to the parks, going to the house parties in your neighborhood, you know. And then when it really took off and it went from the radio stations to going to different states to going across country, it just really like got fascinating, but it just went, like, it just exploded to a whole nother level because it became more universal cultural. I mean, if y'all can relate what I mean, you know what I'm saying? It just started first in the neighborhoods, you know, even in New York, they was using abandoned buildings, rigging electricity to it, hooking up music and partying out of abandoned buildings. Who would have thought now that people are selling millions of records or doing billion streams right now? You know what I'm saying? Off of hip-hop. So every day hip-hop has grown, and it's always new people, new acts that's coming out that's taking it to another level. And that's what keep it exciting.
And I have to say, DJ Aladdin, thank you so much again for just giving us a little bit of your time this evening. It's an absolute honor, and I hope down the line we can make this happen again sometime soon.
Oh, man, I will be looking forward to it, man, and I appreciate Outlaw Radio giving me this opportunity to, you know, shine and, you know, just basically promote what I've got going on right now. You know, Immortal, I appreciate you, man, and Outlaw Radio and everybody who's listening and took the time out to listen. I appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Hey, most definitely. Thank you so much, and you are most certainly welcome, DJ Aladdin. Have yourself a wonderful night.
You too, man. Y'all stay up. Peace out.